Welcome back to the Dickie and Donny Show, presented by Business on Purpose. I'm one of your co-hosts, Donny, joined here by Dickie.
So we're talking today two big topics: fast food and why you can't be the hero in your business any longer. So
And they weirdly, they have a unique tie. We'll get there, but they have
we
a
will.
unique tie to the two of
I
them.
don't know what that
Dickie,
tie is, but we will get there.
Dickie, I'm going to ask you two things here. How do you define fast food first? Go. How do you define fast food?
Okay. Fast food is food that can be ordered with a drive-through window. How do you like that definition?
There's holes in it because we have a barbecue place here that's a sit-down barbecue place that does have a drive-through window.
I'm saying fast food has to have a drive-through window, but not all drive-through windows are fast food.
Oh, it's like every square is a rectangle, but not
Yeah.
every rectangle is a
One
square.
of the definitions, it has to have a drive. So Chipotle would not be fast food. Is that fair?
Interesting.
But
Well,
I,
that's what's hard is Chipotle is way faster than anything else.
so are we talking like burger fast food, Wendy's, McDonald's, Burger King, Bojangles?
Well, so that's the
Like,
thing. Everything you just mentioned is clearly on everybody's scale fast food. So non-negotiables, I think, are has a drive-through. But you're right, not every restaurant with a drive-through is fast food. But to be a fast food restaurant, I think it's got to be a drive-through. I do think you do not have someone actively waiting on your table. You order at a
that's cool.
spot and
Yep.
then go. And sometimes they'll bring it to you. That like Whataburger brings it to you. That's still fast food.
Okay.
Other places they call you up and you have to get up and go get it. But you go to a place or to a machine now. You order and then you
Right.
go sit down or wait for your food and leave. That is fast food. Do you think there's an element of speed to be fast food?
Yeah, for sure. But you've
Okay.
also got this fast casual, you've got like Jersey Mike's, and now we've got Yafo or Cava, this fast casual Mediterranean that's kind of fast food, but still expensive. So you're like, which one are you?
Yeah. And then you have the like steak and shakes of the world where you go in and there's a host and you get sat down, but you get your food faster than almost any like so like is that
Mm.
fast food? No, because it does I mean they have a drive through, but it's you get sat down, you have a waiter and a waitress, but
You
it's a
know
hard
that
question.
Steak and Shake marketing got me recently with their beef tallow fries. I saw that somewhere and I thought, why have I not been to Steak and Shake and
Gotta
tried
have them.
those? Have you had
Gotta
them?
have them. No, we don't have any steak and shakes around us.
Okay, was that fast food or not fast food? I mean, you sit down with a waitress or waiter.
I would say it's not fast food. It's just a very fast restaurant, very fast service. Portillo's is similar. Although Portillo's, have you ever had a Portillo's
I have not.
out of the Chicagoland area? The one I would go to had a drive through. You would walk up to a location to order and go sit down, and they'd call you up. But yet, I would never think of Portillo's as fast food. And that doesn't make sense because you've never been there. But you walk in, and when you walk in like it's a sit down restaurant, you just go about the fast food culture
Right.
about it, and the food
Yeah.
comes out quickly. But then you sit down and you stay for a while.
More to the point, you recommended us talk about fast food. Why? Why did you want to talk about fast
If
food?
you had to, I just think it's an interesting conversation. If you had to remove one fast food restaurant from, let's do a fast food burger restaurant, because that way we're kind of talking apples to apples here. Like a fast food restaurant that provides burgers. If you had to eliminate one from the face of the planet, which one would you eliminate and why?
Man, this is freaking hard because everyone has their points. Like I eat a McDonald's McGriddle on the way to a hiking trip. I eat Wendy's when I'm contracting and building framing and like doing like manual work. Like that's what always brought my team or my crew. Wendy's doubles. That was like the order. And then Burger King has just got a place in my heart because that was my college in the college dorm had a Burger King and I freaking ate the crap out of a Whopper. Is there another burger I'm missing that I could kill?
There's In and Out, which I've not
In
frequented.
and
I've been
Out's
once.
great. Very good. Yep.
Whataburger,
I don't care about that.
probably one of my personal favorites, but that's so much. Popey and I lived in Texas right across the street. So we would go to a Whataburger all the time. And I just, the culture of it, like I, probably my favorite fast food restaurant is Whataburger or Culver's, which is right up there,
Culver's is
top
up
tier.
up north of us. That was good. They had some good ice
They're
cream.
building one in our town right now.
Oh, in your town in
Framing just went up last
Old
week.
Town, huh?
Not in Old Town, in a different place. But
Cool. What
I
are the
think
other?
mine, you have Sonic.
I'd kill Sonic. I don't care about it.
I think I agree. Even though I go occasionally, I think I'd kill it. I'm trying to think. I guess Five Guys, but that to me doesn't feel.
Is Five Guys fast food? I think it
It
is.
doesn't
It's
have a
great.
drive-through.
Yeah, it doesn't
So
have a
good. One
drive-through.
of the best burgers.
Yeah, so
Um,
good. Here's my gripe as an old 43-year-old curmudgeon. Food is too expensive these days. Like
it's
burgers.
bad.
Like I
It
go somewhere and it'll be like $20 and I'm like, I just got burgers and fries. What was the deal?
So the key for us to do that is on Sundays after church, we'll go to Moe's. We'll go to Moe's, and it's not a burger place, but kids eat free on Sundays at Moe's.
Mm,
So my wife and I'll get something the kids eat free, and it still ends up being almost $30 because it's expensive. But it like when you think of now, when we take our kids to Chick-fil-A, they both order a regular meal. They're 5 and 3. And they're like, we don't want nuggets, we want a sandwich. And you're like,
I
yeah,
took
now we're ordering 4 meals.
I took my family to breakfast. We do this like monthly family brunch. We all go to breakfast. We sit down, we ask them a question that's more meaningful to try to have some good
Yeah.
conversation. And we went to breakfast and it was a lot of money. But they also got like drinks and this and that. And I was like, I don't really care because I'm happy that they're happy. But it was almost, I was still like, man, that's a lot of money to go to breakfast.
What was the intentional question you asked this last time we were together?
The
You guys were
intentional
together.
question was, what are you afraid of? Or
Hmm.
what are you afraid of either this week or just in general? And you would not believe some of the answers that they came up with.
I'm
Um,
sure it's enlightening, especially with the age of your kids. Like, what a cool way to be intentional and really get to learn your kids and know how to pray
yeah.
for them, but also how to like come alongside of them. Of like, I didn't know you were that scared about that test. Yeah, what
Right.
can I do to help? Whatever it would be. Like, what a cool
Sure.
question.
13, 15, and 17, and different stages, different interests, but they had similar types of fears. And some of the fears that I was like, man, that's not even, you shouldn't even worry about that at all.
Right.
But
Right.
it's
Well,
something they
speaking
have yeah.
speaking of fears, because I think there's a lot of fear around fast food of like, am I going to get sick and die from this? And probably, but then there's a fear on the business owner side of things when it comes to if I don't have the right people around me, it's the whole hero idea. I have to be the hero or it's not going to get done. And I don't know about you, Dickie. We kind of talked before this because we're appropriately unprepared and we're the best hangover podcast you've never heard of. Both those can be true at the same time. Almost always are true at the same time. Which I will say, I
Yes.
did just get back from a week long trip with my in laws, which function more like outlaws. And if you've ever been on a week long trip with your in laws, you know you need something to get you through it. And I'm not going to be here to say that alcohol is the answer, but I will tell you Happy Dads did help me, and they're actually very good. I've had a
Mm,
couple before, but I like that was my drink over the last week. I had a couple a day, and goodness gracious, they were good. So,
what a treat,
um,
End of the
very
day,
big treat.
been a hot day on the beach, you grab you a little cooler, a little fruit punch, maybe.
No, they don't. They didn't have that. Maybe they do, and they didn't in the bundle I had.
The drinks that we had, someone brought over a crate of Capri Suns. We had a bunch of kids over for July 4th, and they had that Pacific cooler. You ever have the Pacific cooler for Capri
I,
Suns? Dude,
when you look at me, do I look like a guy that frequents all the different flavors of a Capri Sun?
absolutely.
Yeah,
So the freaking Pacific cooler came out, and I was like, whoa, that is a blast. I mean, you make a Pacific cooler alcoholic version, you might have snagged me. So Happy Dads, there's your marketing idea.
there you go. There you go.
Happy
But
dad started as a
we
happy kid.
will.
Okay, so business owners being heroes. I see this a lot as well.
Yeah.
And I'll take a different version spin on this. There is too much on the plate of a business owner. It is not possible for them to accomplish what they intend to accomplish in 1 week. They have overscheduled their weeks. So even if they had a home
In
ec
one day,
in 1 day,
in one
they
week, in
ain't
one
getting it
month.
done. Yeah.
Right. That reminds me, you just saying that, and we've talked about this, I think, before. There's a book called The Checklist Manifesto, and Atul Gawande, I think I'm saying that right, is the author of that book. And he does a study of implementing checklists within surgeons and within nurses. And he finds that the success rate of these surgeries jump. I mean, I'm not kidding, like over 80% because of a checklist. And this was his conclusion. And I think this conclusion is the same conclusion we can draw from watching business owners. You and I have doing it now for years, watching business owners live their lives. Our jobs and our roles have gotten too complex to remember everything. And I
Mm.
think that is a tool Gawande. I don't know if that's a direct quote, but that's his kind of is what he's created. Is we can't remember everything, so put it in a checklist. I would say you can't do everything. So you need to share the load. Like you need to share the weight of this because you cannot do it all in a week. You're spot on. And I'm seeing this so often right now with my business owners. And I don't want to say it's hard to watch because that's probably like it's their life. And that's not fair to say that. You can tell that it's not effective because things are getting slipped. They're overworked, they're overstressed, and they're frustrated. Their relationships slip, their workload slips. They're like, we have too much on our plates and it's affecting us in a lot of ways.
Yeah. And if you look at a Zoom transcript of any of your calls recently, it's got 150 action items and 300 points and 1,200 contributors, and it's a 1 hour meeting. And I saw somebody say this, we're over indexed. I love that word, that we have taken this hour meeting instead of taking, hey, these are the 3 things we're taking from this meeting. 1, 2, 3, go execute. And then next week we say, did you execute on those 3 things? Yes, 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 no. We've got this massive list, and I think we're just so saturated that
Yeah.
we're between AI helping and not helping, and so we're kind of stuck in doing everything
Yeah.
everywhere all at once.
But also now is the guilt of surely this could be done some other way, but I don't have the time to get it done. And there's a lot of different factors where it's no longer AI help, it's AI hurt. And we don't know what we're doing. But we know that there is an option. But if I just had the time, but I'll never make the time and nothing changes if nothing changes. And, a lot of, if there are any business owners, I know Dickie one time said we had 11 listeners, actually 12, but he mentioned my dad who had just died. So 11 listeners of this show. If any of you are,
For sure.
there's some theological views there we can dive into later. Yeah.
So
It's hard because nothing changes if nothing changes there.
So, doctor, what's the prognosis? What's the diagnosis of the heroic business owner that needs to stop doing so much things?
Yeah. So the diagnosis is you are trying to be a hero and you're incapable of doing it on your own. And everyone around you is getting sick, for the metaphor, because of it. Everyone's affected because of it. So the symptoms show as lack of motivation, lack of appropriate time, slothfulness, frustration and anger, quick triggeredness at employees and clients. Like, I think we get prideful. We start to lose humility. I think we start to lose our wisdom and we start acting out of arrogance because we just don't have enough. Those are the symptoms. So you see some of those things and you're like, okay, something's got to be going on here. Now,
I would
what
even add
needs,
in the typical fight, flight, freeze.
yeah,
If you're quick to fight,
yeah.
you get stuck, you can't make decisions well. You
You
might
talk about,
be
I don't know if we shared it on here, the Brene Brown above the line, below the line leadership. Like if you just exist below the line where you're a victim or you're a hero or you're like a challenger kind of thing, like if that's where you're landing, it's probably because you're trying to do everything. So there's a diagnosis. It's actually really easy. And because it's our industry, it's easy to see. I can't tell you how to install a shed in my backyard, but a shed guy could be super easy. For us, like for you, it's not easy to see. For us, it's clear as day. Here's what's going on. So there are a lot of things people can do, but I don't even want to share a lot of different things. I want to share a couple things that are specific. You're doing too much and you know it.
right.
I have one client in my head right now, talking to him right now.
Talk
Talking
directly to him.
It is a male, so you can narrow it down, I guess, a little bit. You're doing too much. You're afraid that your company will go down if anything slips. Things are slipping because you're doing it all. All of those are true at the same time. And you don't trust that other people would care as much as you care. Like all those things. So, okay. So what do? We have to find somebody that we think does care and can hold some of the ownership, not of the like ownership of the company, but like, yeah, I'm going to own the administrative process here. So you don't have to worry about getting all this done. I will own it. It's mine. I'm going to take, like, at the end of the day, it's on me for this to go well. You can absolutely trust an employee and expect an employee to handle it that way if you've communicated it clearly. So we need to get this stuff off of our plate and we need to kind of be able to fall on our sword and say, hey, I'm doing too much. And here's 2 areas that I can no longer continue to own. I cannot own the full administrative process of this business. I cannot be cutting checks, driving checks around. I can't be doing payroll. I can't, like, those things are off of my plate. I can't be doing accounts receivable. I can't send invoices. All of that has to be off of my plate. And I don't just want someone that's a busybody to do it because they're afraid. That's just one other thing to manage. At
Mm.
that point, I need somebody who's going to own it and say, here's the system and this is how we run it. And you need to be telling me what the system looks like. You communicate that clearly. And then the really hard thing, I'm thinking again for this one owner, he's not going to trust that they're going to do it as well as he did it. And the reality is they don't have to. God, it's so hard as a perfectionist myself, but nothing will ever change if you're not okay with that. We often say the rule I will typically say is, hey, if they do it 80% correctly and that 20% isn't like going to lose you your company, then accept the 80 and coach on the 20 throughout time. Use a check in, use feedback, use some, hey, what if we did it like this next time? But I'll tell you what, if someone is fully owning a task and they're doing it 80% the way you did, and you don't have to think about it or own it anymore, you will learn to live with the 20% every time. So I think one of the keys is we have to one, have things, I guess, first step, we need to take the time to write down what it is we need off our plate. Just to write down what it is.
So
Step
have a
two,
time, the delegation
yeah,
roadmap that gives you a time, energy audit of your
just, yep.
work. Yep.
Owner that spends his whole Friday driving around getting checks for receivables when it's like, no, that's a whole Friday. You could have been doing everything else, but you don't have anybody else that you trust to do all that, whatever. So you got to write down what it is. You have to find somebody and communicate clearly enough the level of ownership you're expecting. That's a big one. People skip that one a lot. Hey, here's all the stuff I want you to do. Go do it. And then they don't own it fully because you never told them to own it fully. You just told them to start running with it. And that's different.
Mm.
So, list of expectations of what you're expecting them to do. And then shove it off the cliff and trust it'll get taken care of. Because the reality is, if they butcher it, you're going to go be the hero anyways. We're right back where we started. We're not really in a worse spot.
Mm.
So, I think those three are
How do you
huge for
navigate?
this.
How do you navigate? You know, AI can tell you so much, but how do you navigate the human side of making the decision on what process or what to fix week by week?
So I would actually like, this is where I would argue for a third party voice that both knows you, loves you, and also is not emotionally attached to you in a way, like a BOP coach, and not just a coach, some sort of third party. Like when my clients come to me with this list, they're very much so like, hey, what do I do when?
Mm.
And now we've earned that, but you're like, hey, I would do this and this and this. And even if it's not the order they would have done it in, the fact that I'm sitting here confidently telling them, if you do this, this, and this week, this, and this will be ready next week, that's something for them to rest in. So I would actually leverage, get somebody that is not emotionally attached in the way of like, I'm not going to lose sleep at night. I care a lot about my clients. Don't hear me not say that, but like, it's different. I'm not the owner. I don't carry the weight when I go to bed like they do. But I also think when you like, if I'm an owner and I don't have a coach, one, you need a coach. Everybody needs a coach. It doesn't have to be BOP. Just get a coach. Get somebody to help you. And if they don't have their own operating system, then don't go with them, which will lead you back to BOP every time. If I have a list of these things, Dave Ramsey does the whole like, don't chip away at the loan with the highest, you know, percentage on it. Chip away at the lowest one and start a snowball effect. I actually think this is very similar. What would be the thing where you're like, yeah, I can get that off? It's one thing. It may not be much. I had a business owner that ran a $12 million company. He had 12 employees, and 4 hours a week, he was stuffing envelopes.
Mm.
Like you talk about again, there's a lot of respect to those who stuff envelopes. As the owner of a $12 million company with that many employees, you yourself should not be stuffing the envelopes unless you have all the time in the world and that's what you choose to do. This was not his situation. He did not choose to do that. That was the first thing off this plate. It got him 4 hours back a week, but it starts this, okay, I can do this. I can do this. Don't get business development off your plate first. That's the biggest one. You're like, oh, but if I could just get this 20 hours off my plate, think of what else it would do. I think that's too big of a push. When you get you get in shape of delegating, you think of like, there wasn't very many times I had to run 2 miles in any sport I ever played. But I was in shape. If I ever had to run 2 miles, I could.
Mm.
Never had to, but if I did, I could have. I had to run 1 mile for a lot of things, different times. Once you get in the shape of delegating, you can do a big one. To start with ones that you're like, yeah, I could transfer the ability to do this and the ownership of this pretty quickly. Let's get that off the plate first. I really do believe that is a better way to go.
It's great.
I don't know. I mean, when you coach through this, Dickie, like, have you seen something different? Anything
I
else on
think
your end you're seeing there?
motivationally, I think that this is going to be an odd answer, but I don't think most of my clients have a big enough vision that requires them to change. So they can keep operating and doing all the things, but it's going to keep their company where it is. But as soon as they put down a number target, a revenue target, a people target, a product target that is more aggressive than they can handle themselves, and they realize I can't. I think that to me is if you've got a big enough dream and perspective of where you're going. So this is a 3-year plan that's going to take more people and more money than you have right now. Well, then
Mm.
you can continue to stuff envelopes because yeah, we're just going to keep on keeping on. We're going to go 10% year over year. We're going to kind of maintain. So I think when they think about delegating, they realize, well, what would I do? And I just think the willingness to be uncomfortable in those reaches of where your company could go or the type of company you could have,
That's good.
you've got to have a big enough vision that requires you to, if you don't delegate, you're going to really
You can't
suffer.
reach the vision.
You won't ever get
Yeah.
there because I just talked to a business owner this morning. Actually, was walking to get coffee out of the office. Just haven't seen him in months or maybe, yeah, probably 6 months. And I said, do you want to grow your team? And he's like, I don't know. And red flag immediately. I was like, you don't want to grow your company. He's like, I just kind of want to estimate and do business development and sell this kind of margin work. And I was like, that's great. Good for you. But there was not a great, strong desire to grow where I think if you've got the margin and capacity to do this type of work, man, you could grow a team and build a culture. But not everybody wants that. That's totally fine. I'm not saying
Right.
he's wrong in that. I'm just saying it doesn't require anything more than him. But to me, that's not a business, that's a job. So a business is a recurring set of checklisted principles that can operate with or without you. And you can hire, train, and develop people to coordinate those functions if you're not there. That's a business. The business sustains itself. I mean, to me, the definition of a business is it doesn't have key leader dependency that these owners or leaders are required to be there at every point of the way. But if you want to have a job it can be very lucrative and you can be very great at, but it's still going to require your time and energy. And so I think
Yeah.
that's the difference. But I think if you've got a big enough target, hey, in 5 years, we'd love to triple our revenue, which requires doubling our staff resources. Well, that's going to adjust how we think about, some of these things and how to delegate. So that's kind of an odd answer. If you're going to be the hero, make it so everyone else needs to raise their level in order to get where you
Yeah.
need to be.
Yeah. Hey, we're going to go here. I don't have what it takes to get there. Not yet. You'll need to grow. To get where we're going, you will have to improve. Yeah. Set it so high. I also think so many of ours, like I have business owners right now. The guy I'm thinking of, would he love to grow? Absolutely. Is he even thinking of that right now? No, he's too overwhelmed with what he had. He's got a very successful business in the world's eyes. It's great. You get in and ask some of the questions we ask, and you start to realize there are some real things going on behind the scenes. But for him, the lack of time with his family is such a driving force that it's not even about reaching a vision. It is. It's just not a financial vision. His vision is I need to go from working 75 hours a week to working 40, but all 75 of my hours have to get done. So it's like, okay, so there is an actual drive to get this stuff off of your plate
Sure.
because you have to be the hero. But
But the
man,
bigger
if I can
vision is
get,
him being, you're not getting that time back with your kids when they're that age. So the bigger vision forces him to delegate
yeah,
if he's going to do that well.
that's right. And his people are starting to see, wait, so if I'm going to start taking that from you, what does that mean for my role? And you're like, well, yeah, if you just want to exist in your role, that's fine. But I'm going to have to hire somebody else that will probably end up being above you. But it's up to you. Like you can have that. Or if you want to grow with me and help me become a guy here or a girl here to help really get me where I need to go and where we're going to go, then come on with it. Let's roll. But
So,
you find out people's personality or their oomph behind them pretty quick in that sense.
so you hired a lot of people in your time as a director of a big camp nonprofit organization. What did you
Correct.
look for? Like, what were your quick hits of like knowing like pretty immediately if this person was going to be a good fit for your culture or not?
So there was a religious camp. So there was an underlying tone that was required there. Like the
Right.
beliefs had to be in line. And
Okay,
we had
right. You
some
got to
ways of
be
measuring that. But
on the team.
they
Yeah.
had to, yeah, they had to have the belief structure there to be able to do what we needed them to do in that sense. I'll tell you what the biggest thing for me. So The camp that I worked for, obviously there's no rose colored glasses. Like, was everything perfect? No, but they did a lot of things really, really well. And one of the things they did is the way that they interviewed their applicants and the way they hired their applicants and the way they trained their new hires, I think was world class. Like, I learned so much through that. And so we would go to these we hired like 2,700 college students a year for the summer. So it's big. I think it's the biggest in the world in that sense. But you'd go to a college campus and you'd get like a booth or something like that. And then you'd schedule all these interviews. And there were usually 3 or 4 of us there. I would do, 10 interviews in a day was a lot, but it was maybe 7 or 8. But we would not, the booth was in a place where we could not have an interview. And these interviews were very detailed because one, we had to learn about their beliefs. So we had to ask probing questions. And you got to learn like what kind of baggage are they coming into camp with? We will not hire you due to any baggage, but we do want to know the baggage because that will help us put you here or here. Because if you have certain baggage, this spot won't work well. We've seen it too many times. Camp's been around too long, whatever it is. So you have all these moving pieces. But let's say you're interviewing with me, you come and meet me at this location, and we do about a 2 to 3 minute walk to where we will interview. It's very structured. That 2 to 3 minute walk is where I learned whether I wanted that person or not, because I'm just engaging as a human. Now the interview is close to an hour long, 45 minutes an hour. That 2 to 3 minute walk there and the 2 to 3 minute walk back, where they're like, "Hey,
what question?
How are you doing?"
Do you have the same question, or do you just kind of leave it up?
It would depend if I was hiring a guy or a girl, because I looked for a little bit of different things. If it was a girl, I would be a little less like, I don't say punchy with it, because I'm still a super kind, jovial, funny guy, whatever. But with a girl, it was much more like, "Hey, how's your week going? How's your semester going? Cool. What are you studying? We'll get more into it, but what are you studying? Like, what is, where have you had lunch today? Like, what, whatever." You're just kind of learning. But the way that our camp was structured, you need them to be a human. You don't want a robot. See, like, you're looking for actual, like, "Oh, my day was fine. Not great. Yeah. Well, actually, my day has kind of been rough. I had a test this morning and they just start talking like, okay, we're talking. Like, we can train on a lot of the other things.
Right.
With a guy, it was a little bit different. But I would try to get like, "Hey, yeah, what are you studying?" They'd tell me, "Great, man. Do you work around here? You do anything?" It wasn't whether they worked or not. Here's an example. Here's probably my favorite example from this time of like someone that I knew we wouldn't hire, regardless of how great she was. Is I do this weird, I'm quirky. And I do this thing. Anytime I mention somebody, I will guess their name, but say it like I know their name. For instance, you're like, I was hanging out with my brother. How's Dave doing? No idea your brother's name. And you'd be like, his name's Peyton. And you're like,
Peter?
Cool, whatever, right? To me, that is so funny and I enjoy it so much. Right. Yeah. I'm walking with this girl. I remember the school we were at, and we're doing this 2 to 3 minute walk. And I was like, "Hey, how's your week been?" "Good. I actually got a boyfriend this week." "No way. How's Colin doing?" She like looked at me and she's like, "My friend told me you guys creeped on us before interviews." And I was like, "What? Wait, was Colin right?" And she was like, "That's creepy. I don't think I feel comfortable anymore." And I was like, "I'm sorry. That was a totally random joke. I just said a random name." And she's like, "I don't feel comfortable doing this interview with you one-on-one. Can I leave?" I said, "Absolutely. You're welcome to go. I'm sorry I made you uncomfortable." And she left. And you're like, that showed me that the ability to like roll with it when I was like very genuinely, that was a total joke. But
she's got a story that her friend told her. Hey, they do a thorough background check. They're running your socials. I don't know if you had social media back in your day. I don't know how old you are, but
they did have it, but we didn't do any of that.
Just
we would check.
Running. Yeah.
Yeah. She in her mind was like vetting me of whether I prep. So it's just the perfect storm, but you're like, to not be able to take a joke meant a lot.
Ready to pull that in my next meeting with you. I was going to like, let's see where I can work that in. And now I'm fearful of like, terrorizing somebody that I'm stalking them.
But anyways, yeah, the big thing for us was, do they have the belief system? And there was a huge safety piece of camp, right? You think of 2,700 college students with 15,000 kids a year, if probably more than that. And like, so the questions we would ask, the big thing was like, did I feel like you would be safe if I were to leave you with 8 sophomore girls? Like, are they going to be in good hands? And are you going to be weird? Are you going to be awkward? Are you going to make them feel uncomfortable? Are you going to, very different from what the people I coach would be hiring? But you have all the businesses we coach have those things for them. It may not be
Right.
belief system or safety in a closed environment, but it's something. It's, man, I want them to be respectful when they're with clients and with our team members. I want them to work hard when nobody's watching. I want them to, whatever it would be. Like, those are things every one of my clients would be able to list off a list of those. So,
Yeah, I mean, I've got one filter I hire for, and that's, does this person come with batteries included? And I say that every time I tell business owners that, they're like, that's exactly what I'm looking for. Like, does
yeah,
this person wake up and say, I'm going to build something today. I'm going to create something. I'm here to work. I'm here to, I'm going to, I'm here, I'm engaging. That's really what it is. Is this person plugged into some source that when they come work with us, there's a collaboration and a kind of a mutual, hey, we're working together and charged up on building something or doing something.
yeah. And I'll tell you what, I've had some people that don't want batteries included for a certain hire. They're like, no, no, no. I want them to be clay. I want them to be a human that is kind, and I will do the rest. Awesome. You have to know that going in. And then there's some people where they're like, I don't want clay. I don't want to, I'm tired of it. I'm tired of shaping. I just want, so yeah, people look for a lot of different things. I'll tell you, we talk about this a lot. We'll coach on an org chart, which you probably know what an org chart is. And there's what, sales, marketing, ops, and admin. And the way I like to coach on it is I will put, before I meet with them, I'll put director of ops, director of admin, director of sales, director of marketing. And I'll ask them who's each. And they're like, we don't have any of those positions. And you're like, no, no, no. If there was a hard decision about marketing, who would have the final say? I
And
would.
it's the owner across all five
So
of those.
you're the director of marketing. Yeah, but I'm not our social media person. No, no, no. But you're the final say. And sometimes they'll have somebody that kind of could be a director of ops because we work in construction. That's a little more common. Every now and then they'll say their office manager is their director of admin, although they're not because they still go to them. But that is a quick way for me to be like, all right, if we need to get you to stop being the hero, which of these are we willing to give up first? You choose and we'll chase after it. Because if you're willing to give up the director of admin, we don't have to hire a director of admin. We just handle your office manager a little differently from this point on.
Mhm.
Or if you want all director of marketing off your plate, then we need to bring in a social media company that is worth their snuff to be actually creating content on their own without you doing it. But it's going to cost more. But there's an option. Like, that's one of the ways I like to do it because there is a director of all those in every business. And it's
Yep.
typically the owner across the board. And you wonder, you're doing four people's jobs and you wonder
Yep.
why
And
you're
I do
so
this
low.
very similar. And I'm like, so let me show you, what do you see in this? And I've got their name, Stan, Sarah, Joey. I'm making stuff up. And Stan's like, yeah, it looks like I'm kind of overloaded on 2/3 of the chart. And I'm like, bingo.
Yeah,
That's the problem. You're
nailed
functioning
it.
in three roles that we need to, you're going to be the hero and all. I mean, you're going to be the go-to, and it's natural. You've designed your organization that people go to you in those roles.
And here's the connection to fast food. There's a restaurant in our town, and this restaurant is known for having the best, quickest customer service in the world.
Hmm.
I will not say what they are,
Okay.
but they are known for that across the board. Their food is good, service is better than anyone else.
Hmm.
And the owner is the one you will watch him doing a little bit of everything. You'll watch him back there cooking, you'll watch him up front taking orders, you'll watch him cleaning tables, you'll watch him being the person running the drive-through. And this is their service at this company is the worst. Like, if corporate knew, if that's how they were structured, that this was that bad, it'd be gone. I mean, it is that bad. And
You're
they're
not talking
supposed to
about
be the,
squat and gobble, are you?
no, that is not fast food. That is luxury culture at its finest.
Yeah. About
But
the
no,
squat
I'm
and
not. I'm
gobble
talking about a
cinnamon
fast
rolls.
food.
Yes, I got you.
Golly, you want to talk about just perfection. But that you look at it and you're like, why is this restaurant that's known for having the best service, why is it the worst service in the whole town of any restaurant, let alone that industry for that specific or that standard for that specific restaurant? Is because that owner will not stop being the hero and he doesn't train anybody else because he's like, well, where do we hurt the most today? That's where I'll exist. And you're like, yeah, but
Just
the other nine arms are not strong because if they're struggling one day, you just jump in to help and you
right.
don't. You don't actually say, hey, I'm not going to cook anymore. So we got to figure this one out. They're like, okay, I'll cook if I have to.
I don't know if this is the right solution, but my kids leave their trash everywhere. those like Kirkland Chewy bars or a popsicle wrapper. Well, we're demoing their bathroom, so they've been down in the basement a lot, sleeping down there. And I went down there yesterday, and I was like, "Good Lord, what are you gremlins doing down here?" There's like,
Gremlins.
oh my gosh. So I call them all down, and I'm like, "Hey, we're picking this up now." They're because I would pick it up. I was like, okay, I'll pick up some trash and do. I got tired of picking it up. I'm like, so I'll just take them, whatever they're doing. I don't care. I don't care if you're on the phone with the president. I'm like, now, let's go. And so we all go downstairs, pick all their crap up. And
Good for
they hate
you.
me for it, probably because they're like, God, Dad, why do you do this? But I'm like, next time you put that trash down, I'm gonna find you at an inconvenient time. I'm gonna
I'm
march
gonna
you
make it the
downstairs.
most inconvenient. It's gonna be 3 a.m. one day, and you're fast asleep. I'm gonna
Dude,
say, get
that's a
up,
dream. My wife would murder me, but that would be fun.
film it. All I'd ask is that you film it.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be
All
fun.
right. Well, thank you for listening to the riveting Dickie and Donny show. If you find yourself being a hero in your company, start by identifying areas that you could give up and then just give them up. Train your best you can. Make sure you give it to the right person. If it's 80% correct, live with it. That's going to go everything against you, or it's going to go against everything you know. And I understand that, and do it. There's no way out other than just trusting those around you.
And I did have one more thought about the broken window theory. If you do everything 80%, there's going to be broken windows and it's going to look like this company isn't running well. So maybe the next meeting we can talk. Did we talk about the broken window theory yet? Or did I just send
Nope.
an email about
You
that?
sent me an email about it.
I did. Yeah, maybe we talk about that next time because when I do agree with you, let's get things 85%. But if people see things undone in their world, they're going to assume the building's dilapidated. They're not going to take care of it. So then I'm
So,
struggling here.
well,
What's
here is what I'd say to that, because that is a great point. You can control where that 20% lives. There are certain things that are non negotiables. And if it is a client facing piece, that is 100%. It would be the 80% of, I'm trying to think of a quick example, onboarding a client, like someone's calling and wants a service done. And you get all the questions done, you pass it off, we get it scheduled, we go do the work. We make sure that we bill them on time. Like on their front, everything was done correctly. But in our backend system, we didn't put all the notes in at the very beginning. Now, do you need to have all the notes from the first call? Yeah, we do. But is that 20% that we left out allow us to do the rest of the job effectively and the client never knows anything is different? Yes. Now there's also, you're like, yeah, but then you won't always be able to do the job correctly because you don't have all the notes. I made up a quick example. That 20%, I will tell them you need to quickly identify what's that 20% and can you live with it? And if you say, I can't live with that because that deters from our product, if it's
here's my
client or
thought.
team facing, I don't think it looks like 80%. We know in the back end, the way as the owner used to do it, it's not completely what the owner used to do.
Right.
That's the
But maybe we're
80%.
saying we see the broken window, we taped it up and fixed it and said we put a sign up that says fix coming so that people know we're still working on this, but
I
we
don't
can at
even think
least.
it's that because people won't know you're working on it. People won't know the difference. It's just, it's a little bit different than what you used to do. So you perceive it as 80%
I got that. That's
because
great.
you're the owner, because you're the owner. So you did it perfectly. I use quotations if you're listening on Spotify or whatever, wherever you listen to your podcast. If you
All
did
right.
it perfectly,
Well, we've got
we got
another
to go.
meeting we should run to. Thank you all for joining us and thank you
Broken
for
window,
running us,
Whataburger.
allowing us to get through 14 intros. Peace.